Sejam bem-vindos ao VHS. Olá, rapaziada.
Olá,
eu sou o Daniel Louro.
Eu sou o Paulo Fajardo.
Estamos aqui novamente, desta vez para, excepcionalmente, não para falar numa longa-metragem,
mas de uma curta-metragem que esteve perdida quase 3 décadas.
Uma espécie de santo grau dos fãs de
completamente.
Star Wars,
Mas
embora nada tenha a ver com Star Wars.
Mas santo grau mesmo, porque existem muitas referências a filmes que foram feitos antes.
O Santo Graal, exatamente.
Dos Monty Python, não é?
Sim.
E acho que até alguns locais de filmagem também foram no mesmo sítio.
Quero explicar porque é que esta entrevista aconteceu e porque é que estamos hoje aqui a falar no Black Angel, que é assim que se chama.
Exatamente. Black Angel, da autoria do Roger Christian. O Roger Christian, ele trabalhou nos Star Wars originais, na primeira trilogia e também na segunda trilogia. Trabalhou na segunda unidade.
Designer de
produção
e arte
arte conceitual.
E não sei o quê. Sim.
Ele acabou também por dar o salto para a cadeira de realizador. O filme mais conhecido dele é eventualmente o mega fracasso de ficção científica, o Battlefield Earth, que é um filme que eu tenho que vos dizer. É um filme que para mim é quase magnético.
Nós qualquer dia temos que então fazer um podcast sobre o Battlefield. Aliás, deixa-me aqui confidenciar que nós procurámos então o Roger Christian para nos dar uma entrevista em relação ao Terra Campo de Batalha, não é assim?
Exatamente, em português.
Esse malfadado filme com o John Travolta. Mas o Roger teceu algumas reservas em relação a esse filme.
E disse que para já não.
Para já não queria então
futuro,
falar.
Eventualmente ele voltará a falar connosco.
Ele parece que se sente perseguido pelos anti-cientologia na internet.
Exatamente.
Este filme, então, que foi escrito pelo pai da cientologia, daí os anti-cientologia perseguirem o John Travolta e perseguirem também este realizador, o Roger Christian, e por causa disso ele não quis então falar no Terra Campo de Batalha. Mas enquanto pesquisávamos um bocadinho mais sobre a carreira deste realizador e diretor de arte, descobrimos então que ele foi responsável por esta curta chamada Black Angel, que foi lançada por altura do Império Contra-Ataca. Este foi um projeto que ele escreveu e realizou durante a rodagem do próprio Império Contra-Ataca, para quem ele também estava a trabalhar, para o George Lucas.
E queria funcionar como uma curta de antecipação ao filme.
Era uma curta que iria passar antes do grande Império Contra-Ataca.
E que, por razões que ele nos irá explicar agora durante a entrevista, desapareceu durante 30 anos e quase que magicamente reapareceu agora. E
tem feito algum sucesso entre alguns festivais e recentemente foi então colocada no YouTube e está à disposição de todos vocês.
Podem procurar.
O link está na descrição
Black Angel,
deste
Roger
podcast
Christian,
no YouTube.
E eu tenho-te a dizer, Daniel,
gostaste da curta?
tem uma fotografia do caraças.
Tem.
Caraças.
Eu acho que a atmosfera, aquilo são 4 atores ou pouco mais. Ele escreveu, são $25 mil que custou a realização desta curta. Teve 4 atores, 2 cavalos treinados e um autocarro para levar toda esta parafernália para a Escócia, onde isto foi filmado. E a paisagem da Escócia nesta curta fala por si. Eu acho que isto é um namoro ao ambiente etéreo que se vivia ali naquele sítio onde ele filmou isto. Deixa-me só dizer, a curta foi exibida na altura então em 400 cinemas. Depois de ter feito então alguns circuitos em festival, o próprio Roger Christian viu aqui uma segunda vida nesta sua curta, já com 30 e tal anos. E ele vai-nos contar tudo em exclusivo, como é que foi a produção desta curta e contar até algumas surpresas que estão aí para virem futuramente em relação a esta curta, que pode fazer nascer algo mais. Vamos então ouvir, senhoras e senhores, Roger Christian em exclusivo para o VHS.
So, Roger, how was it like when the negative was lost?
Well, a double-edged sword, because I had so many requests to show it, and I kept thinking this film is like 35 years old, and maybe it would be left in people's memory. When they see it, they might be disappointed because it was so old. So I kind of, having lost, really trying to find even the prints, because the one on the Lucasfilm Ranch has disappeared from the archives. My one got thrown out when I was making Nostradamus in darkest Romania with no phones.
Was it stolen?
No, they Richard Edlund, who did the effects on Star Wars. I was directing commercials for him.
Yeah.
While I was in Romania, the company went down, it went bankrupt, and everything got thrown out, including all my masters.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, that was terrible. So then when I got this call, it was right after Ars Technica did a huge article on Black Angel, and Wired magazine had contacted me, and they ran a really good... They said they were doing an article on what they call forgotten relics, and they kept telling me that Black Angel kept coming up. And so they did a big article on its influence at the time and all of this. And then, blow me, right before Christmas, this man contacted me and said, "Are you Roger Christian?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Did you make Black Angel?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "Which company?" And I told him my company, Painted Lady. And he said, "I've got your negative."
Oh, man. What did you felt at that moment?
I nearly dropped off my seat. And I said, "What have you got? What have you got?" And he said, "I've got all these tins, your negatives, some pieces from the post, all sorts of things." So he said, it must have all come from England. And he said, "I've been put in charge to get all of these negatives out and find who they own to, because we need the room now."
Oh, my God.
So the universe...
Fortunately, it was a guy with a lot of sense, and not a guy that would trash them.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I owe him a lot, and I thanked him profusely. And I wonder what other negs were in there as well.
Yeah.
I was while I was searching on the internet from reviews from Black Angel, I came across a lot of them with 5 or 10 years, and were solely based on memories from people who saw them before Empire Strikes Back. This must have caused quite an impact at the time, because people still remember today.
Huge numbers. In Scotland, there were so many people coming saying that it was from their childhood. Now, I was very interested at the time in Tarkovsky. I loved his movies, and he made every movie to connect to the subconscious, not the conscious. So because I was making a myth and I had so little money, I plucked a few little moments from my original story and did it with the sound and music and visuals, so that I was and obviously it must have worked. But I mean, relating to that, one man, Guy Veal, saw Empire Strikes Back at 5 years old in Scotland and thought this was a dream in his head. All these years he'd been tracking down Black this and Angel this and could never find it. And then he contacted me and said, "I'm coming to Mill Valley to prove what was in my head was real."
Yeah.
And he flew all the way to Mill Valley, watched the film with us, and then he said, "Look, I've arranged for a trip to Scotland for the Glasgow Film Festival and 3 other screenings." So we went with him. He's traced every single location that I worked in and rephotographed them, and he's become like the champion of Black Angel in Scotland. So many people came and said, some said, "Wow, you really frightened me as a child," and others said, "You really impressed me, and the visions and everything." So I was quite interested really to explore that.
Did you know the locations before you went there to shoot?
I knew Eileen Donan Castle, Ellen Donan in Scottish.
I'm asking this because to me it felt like the places were the story was created around those places, because all the geography is probably the best about this short, to me at least.
Frankly, to me it reminded me of Monty Python's Holy Grail.
Yes, well, they shot in Wales, I think. No, I'd written the story first, but I did write knowing the castle that's in the film, because I knew that was amazing, and I knew the Scottish Highlands, and I knew if I went just on the edge of winter, the skies are amazing, you know, and there was no CGI then, and I didn't have money to do any sky replacements, so what I filmed was what I got. And again, my major mentor and influence was Kurosawa. I went to see every film of his before we went with the director of photography.
Yeah.
And he to me, he made documentaries inside incredible landscapes to make his vision work. And that's what I wanted to do. So I found in each location locations to match. And the one I didn't think I'd find was the lakeshore with all the weird banyan trees where the horse was and the maiden. Mm-hmm. that was a sheer accident. I went down a dirt road for miles and miles and came on this place, and I was giving up. I thought I'll never find a kind of science fiction fantasy landscape, and there it was in this lock. It was incredible.
I have to tell you, when I saw it, the thing that most impressed me was Roger Pratt's photography. It's so beautiful. The pacing, the rhythm it gives us time to appreciate the spaces, the horizon. And I felt very surprised for this being in the early 80s, and I was like, whoa, this should be a feature film.
Well, more than that, Roger Pratt, I knew he used to look after Terry Gilliam's cameras.
Yeah,
he'd shot a documentary on how a washing machine worked. Really, nothing else. This was the first thing he really had ever done properly.
Okay.
And when the first day we started, because we were on the edge of winter, we had very little daylight. It was raining the entire time. I saw Roger puzzling over the camera, and I said, "What's the matter?" And he said, "Look, my light meter tells me I can't shoot. I haven't got a reading." And he said, "But look through camera, it looks amazing." And he literally threw the light meter over his shoulder and said, "Screw this, we're going by instinct from now on." And I, if I'd had an established DP, he probably would have said, "Oh, we can't shoot. I can't get a light reading." But I think that's what shocked and interested people at the time, because no one had ever put up visions like this. Ridley came along with a duelist, but in CinemaScope, in the movie theaters, it was such a huge visionary experience for people, and I think that affected them deeply. And it was the first at that time. And, I'd always wanted to make a feature. Now my dreams are coming true, and like 35 years it's taken, but this is my passion project. It always has been. So I'm just amazed that I've been granted my wish finally.
Yeah. George Lucas, he paid for the production, right?
No, the production was paid for by a British grant at the time. There was a thing called an Edie Fund, and they would give you up to a maximum £25,000 for the short film, and the government got the money back from income from the feature. So it's private money. George just said he would attach it to Empire Strikes Back, so that gave them the confidence that they knew it would go out. There were 480 prints of it in Britain. It was shown Australia, Britain, and in Scandinavia.
Okay.
So now you have the opportunity to expand your story. There's a feature film coming up, right?
That's absolutely right. So the original idea, I've gone back, rewritten it for today, and that is now done. The script is done. We're now in production. We're going live on Indiegogo tomorrow, and it's just to raise social awareness, to raise the interest in the film, and a little bit of money will go towards extra Armies of the Undead, costumes, the sets, anything like that. It'll make the film better, because two things. One, there was an answer to your other thought there with the pacing. This was my biggest fear of putting this film out today, right? So
it has to be quicker.
Quick. So at Mill Valley, and that screening really decided me I'm going to do it. I had a whole bunch of film students came afterwards. They wanted to interview me for a magazine, and I said, no, I'm going to interview you first. And they said, no, finally there's a film where we were able to enjoy the scenery, the pacing, the drama, the characters, the music. It all fused in our minds. And I thought, oh, maybe this is working. And now the overwhelming, we've had 97% positive from YouTube, which I never thought I would get. I was really worried that we would get kind of this, the film was different. But I think there's a tidal wave happening that I've suddenly risen on, that people are a little bit fed up with movies that are all CGI, all so fast that you're disguising almost, are not allowing the films to penetrate. And I talk on Indiegogo, my campaign about Gladiator, for me, is the last film really of this era that allowed you to really really absorb everything in it, the pacing and everything. So I'm going down and dirty. I'm going the way we made Star Wars Alien, with too little money, but really visceral. I want the audience to feel the blood, sweat, and the tears of this movie. And we use a little bit of CGI. I'm limiting myself. There was like Jurassic Park, the first one. It stays in the memory. It's very important to remember this way that films were made.
Okay. You talked about the music. Trevor Jones did the score.
Yes.
He also did the score for Excalibur, John Boorman's Excalibur.
Yes.
I love that movie. And when I saw your intro, it made perfect sense. And what I want to ask you is, did you meet with John Boorman? Did you exchange ideas for his film?
Yes, John to me is one of the great British filmmakers who was always very ballsy, never afraid.
For sure.
Yeah, and he always made amazing films for me, for audiences like him. I loved his stuff. So John, at the time, was a huge supporter to me. He really helped me a lot. And then I got a call out of the blue, and he said, would you and Roger Pratt come down to it's the biggest screening room at the time in Pinewood. I want to show Black Angel. We arrived there. There was the entire crew sitting there.
Yeah.
And Roger and I were hiding out the back, and then he showed it, and then he came in front to the whole crew, and he said, that's what I want.
And that's exactly what he got.
So, well, I apologized to her. I said, listen, I'm really sorry, because these are all major kind of filmmaking people. But I said, John, to be fair, I had a crew of 9 people in an old bus thing, a little camper wagon. I could go up dirt roads and go into locations you'll never be able to go with a crew of 200 people. He agreed. And then he said he really liked my underwater scene, and he asked if he could... if I would mind if he wrote one in to his film, because he really liked it. And I said, John, I'm more than flattered and honored that you would even think like that. So
right.
I think the vision of Excalibur had that, he went to Ireland to make it. And and it still stands out as one of the more important King Arthur films made.
Yeah. I saw Excalibur first,
right.
Then Dark Angel.
Black Angel.
Black Angel. And if you didn't made the introduction, I would never know which one was made first. And I when I saw Black Angel, I felt like I'm watching Excalibur. But now that I know that this short film was made first. It's notorious the way that John Boorman was inspired by your short film.
Yeah, no, it's a very great honor. And when they tried to persuade me to put it on YouTube, and I wasn't sure about it because I thought, again, it's an old film, and if it's just suddenly out there, what are people going to think? And then my Nostradamus producer and I, and my wife here does PA. We all agreed if I could do an intro, then it would position the film properly. And a lot of people have said, I'm almost apologizing for the film when I intro, but that's okay. I think it had to be seen to be what it was, because it is an old film.
Yeah. And I don't know if you agree with my opinion, but I think that Ridley Scott's Legend, it's very similar to Black Angel.
Yeah, to me, Legend is still one of the most beautifully shot films ever made. In fact, Ridley asked me to design it for him. And I was trying to make my features at the time and trying to do other things. So it was a really hard decision not to do it, because I love Ridley. I love every film he makes. And I knew Legend was going to be pretty incredible as a visual, so I just couldn't do it. And then they asked me to do second unit, and I was just heading off to Australia to another film. And it's one of the things I wish I'd done, because there is a similar vision in there, and I've always shared that with Ridley, I have to say.
So, and you have a poster of Return of the Jedi signed by the man himself. Can you show us with the webcam the signature?
I'll try. It's a thank you from George to me.
Oh man.
I don't know if you can see. Where is it?
Oh, this is a fan's treasure.
Can you see
it's
it?
there in black pen. Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
It will be more valuable if it was a Revenge of the Jedi poster. But
I know. I've got a badge. Revenge of the Jedi, and I've got script Revenge of the Jedi. I've got all those.
oh, great.
Okay.
And I've got the actual badge here.
Okay, Roger.
Editor.
Best of luck.
Thank
we
you.
will be waiting for Black Angel,
yeah.
the movie.
The feature film?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the script is really strong, so it should be good. I hope so.
Great, okay. Bye-bye.
See you
Okay.
soon.
Bye.
Bye, Roger. Thank you very much.
Bye.